Welcome back, guys. So today we are attempting another popular question of dynamic programming, and that is edit distance. Now, if you take a notice, then this is a hard level question. But once you are done with this, you'll actually wonder why was this even in the hard category. Okay. So now let's take a look at the problem statement. Given two words, word one and word two, find the minimum number of operations required to convert word one to word two. Okay. And the operations are basically insert a character, delete a character, replace a character. Right. So the thing is you can actually convert any word to any other word with just the help of these three operations. Okay, let's say I have a word like abcd and I have another word like efg. I want to convert abcd to efg, right? Word one to word two. So what I can do is maybe I can just insert a character and the character will be d. Okay, one operation. Replace replace c with replace g with c, so it becomes c. Replace b f with v, it becomes b. Replace e with a, it becomes a, right? So the minimum number of operations that I have chosen, that I've actually used now is 4, right? So with the help of these operations, I know now it's clear to me that okay, I can convert any word to another word, right? So let's start, and we'll use the same approach that we have used in the previous videos. Firstly, we'll come up with a recursive approach because that's easy to come up with, and after that, we'll move on to the tabulation part, so that we don't get a TLE. Okay, let's start. So for recursive call, I'll need a function. Let's call it a helper function that will take like 4 parameters. Okay, and those parameters will be string one, string two. Let's just call them string one, string two, word one, and word two is too lengthy for me. S and T. S is the first one and T is the second one. Okay. And the other thing that I'll need is M and N. M means the length of S and N means the length of T. Okay. Let me just call this function here helper S T and len of S and len of T. Right. So now let's just return this as my answer because the value, whatever value that I get will be my answer. So there's no need to, extend the question. Let's start. The first thing that we need to come up with are the base conditions, right? So what will be the base condition? See, if one of the string is empty and another string has characters, then what do you think will be the minimum number of operations required? Let's say if a string is like this, ABCD, and the other string is empty. Okay, how many operations do you think will it take me to make both of these strings equal? Right? I think that will be equal to the length of the string that has some characters, right? Why? Because I need to append all of those characters in my empty string. So that's clear, right? So let's start from there. Okay. So my base condition will be if m is equal to 0, which means if the length of the s string is 0, then what actually will be my answer? How many minimum number of operations will I require? That will be equal to n, right? Otherwise, if uh, if n is equal to 0, which means that the second string is empty, then I'll require m number of operations, right? Because if one string is empty, I know that I have to append the characters that are present in the second string. So that will be the minimum number of operations I'll require, right? So okay, done with that. Now what if some characters match? Because that can also happen, right? The thing is, these are my base conditions, and we're done with that. Okay, now let's think, what are the two possibilities that can happen when two characters are matched? Either they match or either they don't match, right? So firstly, let's think what happens if they match, and then we'll think what happens if they don't match. Okay, so if two characters match, so I'll this will be like this: s of m minus 1 is equal to s of n minus 1. Why minus 1? Because s has the length of the string and the indexing starts from 0, so just for that sake we are doing minus 1. Okay, so actually this should be t, sorry. So what if the character matches? If the characters matches, then what we are supposed to do? If the characters matches, are we supposed to use any operation of these? If the character matches, like here, horse and rose, if r and r matches, then do I need to do anything? Do I need any sort of operation? I don't, right? What I'll do is I'll if my character matches, I'll just ask the pointers to just move one step backward, because I don't need any number of operations for that particular characters, right? So what I'll do is I'll return the helper function again. Strings will remain same, st, and m and n will become, they'll decrease by 1, which means let's take a look at this. Maybe a b c d, and this was like c d. Okay, uh d and d matched, right? D and D match, so I don't need to do anything for them. Okay, I'll say that okay, you are pointing to D, my n was pointing here, and my n was pointing here. Now you can just go one step backward, because here I don't need any sort of operation. Okay, so this is what will happen if my character matches. Otherwise, now this is the really interesting part. Otherwise, what will I do? if the characters don't match. Because if the characters don't match, I have three possibilities. Either I can insert a character, either I can delete a character, either I can replace a character. Okay, so no matter what I do, I'll require one operation, right? One operation, and uh, I'll actually take one operation because the characters are not matching. But now I can do three things. I can either insert, either I can delete, either I can replace. So what actually will be the difference between insertion, deletion, and replacement? In insertion and deletion, in insertion, basically, you know, you are actually decreasing the length of first and not the second. In deletion, you're actually decreasing the length of second, not the first. And in replacement, you are actually decreasing the length of both. So let's try to write the code down. Very simple. For insertion, what do I need to do? Let's say the characters don't match. Okay, these are the characters, and this is D and this is E. Okay, so I think I can actually insert a character right here. Right, I can actually insert a character right here. This is one thing I can do, right? I can actually insert D here. So what will happen if I insert D here? One of my pointer will remain here, and one of a pointer which was initially pointing to here, it will go one step backward, right? So what will I do? I'll keep helper SNT will remain same. I'll keep one of my pointer where it was, and I'll move back the next pointer, right? Otherwise, what I can do, otherwise again I have two possibilities. I can delete or replace, right? So helper function will remain same. What will happen when I'm deleting? In deleting, let's take another this example again. So for deletion, what I can do is, maybe I can just delete one of this character. So what will happen if I delete one character? uh, the pointer, one of the pointer will keep pointing to that same place again, whereas the other pointer, it will move one step backward, right? So again, S and T. Last time I was doing m minus 1 n, this time I'll do m n minus 1. Okay, so this has sort of done its part for what, deletion. Okay, now let's talk about replacement. So for replacement, again the parameters of string and stnt will remain same, no issue with that. But now for replacement, what will happen is, uh, I have C here, I have D here. Okay, now I replace my D with C. Okay, this is what has happened. So now both of my pointers are supposed to move one step backward, because now I'm done with these, right? So here I'll do m minus 1 and sorry, okay, m minus 1 and n minus 1, right? Clear with that? And I'm choosing the minimum out of this because I'm supposed to find the minimum number of operations required. So now let's actually try to see if it even works or not. Let me just remove this. Yeah, let's run our code. Let's see what happens. Okay, it got accepted. Now let's try to submit this. Well, I hope that we get a TLE but not a wrong answer. Well, this was supposed to happen, so no issues with that. I'm happy that we got a TLE, right? So now let's move on to the tabulation approach. Let me just comment up this recursive call, right? Uh, Again, I'll make rather I'll just copy the signature only, def helper, because things will remain same. So now let's talk about the interesting part, tabulation conversion, right? So let's start. Firstly, I need a table where I'll throw my answers, and in the last video I told you how many dimensions will be there in the table. It is determined by how many parameters are changing in the recursive call. So in recursive call, I think two parameters are determining the changes, that are m and n, right? So that is exactly the the number of what the number of uh, dimensions that my table will have. So let me just make my table for j in range of n plus 1, not n but n plus 1. Why? Because the last index will show my answer, right? And for I in range of I plus 1, sorry, m plus 1. Yeah. Now I have my DP. Now let's start with the coding part. And trust me, it's going to be really easy, as because we have already solved that DP approach. So let's start. Okay. Uh, Again, the number of loops you use, it is determined by actually how many parameters were changing in the recursive call. So I have like two loops. I'll have two loops, one for m and one for I hope that's clear. For I in range of m plus 1. Okay, because I actually need to fill the table also, so you can think of that also. For j in range of n plus 1, right? So now let's try to fill up these base conditions that we have thought of. Okay, first, now actually the m means I and the j means n. Okay, because I is filling the position for m and j is filling the position of n. So I just write down, I'll just copy down this code only. Okay, And is this how it was supposed to be? Yeah, I think so, or maybe not. I think there's some tab errors. Let's leave that. Okay. So if we have written if m equals 0, which means that if I is equal to 0. Okay, if I is equal to 0, the dp of I and j, because what you are returning there is equal to dpij. Return means dpij. Cool. Okay, a dpij will be equal to what? It will be equal to n, and n means j here. Okay. uh Let me just actually comment that part for you, that m is equal to I and j is equal to n. uh Result is equal to dp I and j. This will be very simple for you now. Okay. Now and let's just keep writing down those conditions. Else if j is equal to 0, then what we'll be doing, we will writing dp I j is equal to I. dp I j is equal to I, right? Or I'm only writing down those same thing. Else if, what if the character matches? What if the character matches, right? So how do you check if a character matches? We wrote down there sm minus 1, which means si minus 1 equals to t j minus 1, right? And what we're doing for that, we were doing, uh, the result was being equal to m minus 1 n minus 1. So dpi and j will be equal to dp of I minus 1 and j minus 1. Okay. Else the biggest condition that we had there, it was what dp of I and j will be equal to. So just write down those same thing, don't even need to think twice. It will be equal to dp of I minus 1 j, or minimum of, I just need to find out minimum of three of those values. So I just minimum take two parameters, so I'm just passing it two times. Okay. So dp of I and sorry, and j minus 1, what am I doing, or dp of I minus 1 j minus 1. I have written down those same things. Here it was m minus 1 n. I have written down I minus 1 j. Mn minus 1 I minus 1 j again. Yeah, sorry. Mn minus 1 I minus 1 j t. Okay. So after that we have m minus 1 n minus 1. Here we have I minus 1 j minus 1. And once we are done with the iteration, I'll just return dp of m and n. And I think that should do the trick. Now let's try to run a code. If it works or not. Maybe I've made some mistakes or not. Let's see. Okay, I did get a wrong answer, so I think I made some mistake. Oh yeah, 1 plus. How can I forget that? 1 plus, because no operation was being added, so that's why it was showing a correct answer. Now let's try to submit this. Hopefully we won't get a TLE this time. Yeah, we didn't get a TLE, and now you can see this was not actually a hard level question, and it was pretty damn easy, right? So this is how you actually convert the recursive call into DP, and I hope you are actually getting a little bit more insight of how we do that. So thank you for this, and we're done. Thank you.